Good evening. I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. And you know, if it's Thursday, it's all about inspiration, and we try to get people inspired on this day. And before I take credit for this show tonight, I want to say I have nothing to do with it. It was all the work of one of Team JKL's best and brightest. You know him better as Della. Put together this show and says, let's inspire the youth of Kenya. And I said, why not? So on this show today, if you're between the ages of 15 and 35, this is a show for you. We're going to inspire you like you've never been, because I was very saddened when a couple of weeks ago, a poll for young people asked a whole group of them, would you engage in corruption if you were to get away with it? More than 50% of them said they would. So you ask yourself, what are we raising in terms of children? Is this the Kenya we want? Tonight, the show is dedicated to you, young people, because nothing in life comes easy. In a little short while, I'm going to have the principals of 3 national schools here on the bench. Alliance High, Alliance Girls, and Nairobi School. They're going to be here on the bench. Why? Because this weekend, there is a summit at Alliance Girls that's going to bring together something like 2,000 young people from around the country to talk about leadership. In fact, they're calling it Raise Your Game. This is the brainchild of a young 28-year-old pastor by the name of Ken Gomeri. That's right. He's visited, literally, physically visited more than 946 schools around the country, inspiring young people, bringing them, I guess, to the fore, and letting them know that life does not come easy, that life is all about challenges, that if you want to make it, you got to work hard. Ken is joining me on the show right now. In this first part, before I bring the principals, he's going to tell us a little bit about what's going to happen this weekend and why he does what he does. His Twitter handle is @KenGomeri. Mine is @Koinange Jeff. The hashtag, like I said, we're using tonight, Raise Your Game. Every one of you young people with a smartphone, start tweeting. Questions, comments, anything you want to say, because tonight, this show is for you. Ken Gomeri.
Yes, sir.
Pastor.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
28 years old.
Yeah.
Inspiring young people.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Jeff, being a young person, I've done 946 schools across this country.
Visiting them. Talking
physically.
to the kids.
Talking to them. And as I went around, I saw the need. We need to go back and save our generation. And that's why I went from one place to the other, deep interior places, some are in urban centers. I went all over talking to young people.
Then what do they say, Ken? When you look at them, when you talk to them, what do they say? What do they want?
One boy comes into my mind in a school I went to, and I spoke, and everybody was excited. This boy asked me a question I will never forget. He asked me, Pastor Ken, after all you've done and all you've said, will I ever be happy? Will I ever be happy? Will my life ever change?
Yeah.
Will I ever discover who I am? Will I ever get to the life you're talking about? And that one brought this passion inside me. And I said it's possible. I wrote a book by the name Discovery Brings Recovery.
You have it here somewhere, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to show it up in a little while.
Yeah.
Discovery
brings recovery. And in my book, I'm just trying to tell young people the biggest thing you can ever get is to discover who you are. That's the biggest thing. Once you discover who you are, you free yourself from everything that surrounds you and corrupts you and make you think that you're nobody. So I began there. I wrote my book, and my book has sold worldwide. I've gone there, I've talked to young people, I've encouraged them, and right now we're doing this leadership summit dubbed Raise Your Game.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this, Jeff?
Why are you doing this, Ken? Yeah. Good question.
When we talk about leadership, we're talking about government. And when we talk about government, you're talking about order. Jeff, in my opinion, rather have a bad government than no government. Rather have a bad government than no government. Look at what our friends in Somalia are going through because of no government.
Failed state.
And you talk about government, you're talking about strategy, and you're talking about personnel. As a country, we are talking about Vision 2030. A young boy at 16 right now, at 2030, he'll be 30 years old. We are building a nation, we are building infrastructure, we are building a beautiful country. We need personnel who will run that nation in 2030. And those young people are in high schools. So Raise Your Game is reaching out to them and telling them you ought to become the leader. In 2030, we are grooming you, we are putting and equipping you so that at 2030 you give us back value.
When you talk to those kids, Ken, and look, I was very disturbed by that poll a few weeks ago, that young people are willing to engage in corruption as long as they don't get caught. They want the easy way out. What do you tell them?
Jeff, I want to bring a different dimension to this. I talk to young people. Many parents think they know their young people, but absolutely they don't know their young people. Being a father and giving birth gives you the right to become a father of a person or a child, but it doesn't give you a right to become a mentor to that kid, because mentorship and fatherhood is two different things. A kid has influence, a parent has influence over the kid in the early stages of growth. When they grow up, they outgrow your influence and they look for other influential personalities. That's why the person who your daughter or your son will break their leg to go and meet, that's their mentor. That's their mentor.
Yeah, it's not the parent.
It's not the parent. Why? Because as a parent, you provide your physical needs to your child, but a mentor gives life. Young people can like a teacher. A teacher gives me education, but mentorship is about giving life. I can like your knowledge, but I don't like your life. So if you don't give life to me, I'll go to that person who you hate and they'll give life back to me. And that's the problem.
And what are the kids saying out there? I mean, you've been to the most remotest parts of this country. Do they all think the same, by the way, in that generation? Are they all thinking the same?
No, they're not thinking the same. The problem is these young people need to be reached out with a message of hope. They are hopeless. They don't have vision. They don't have mentors. When you talk about greatness, they think you're talking it because you have it. They are hopeless, Jeff. And all we need is to go outside there and tell them you can become what you dream and what you think about.
And what about these kids who say, you know what, if I steal 200 million shillings, if I'm bribed 200 million shillings, I'll be rich, I'll be famous.
Yeah, because
I'll get away with it.
It's because of one thing, Jeff. There is no success without a successor. We thank God because of our leaders who've gone ahead of us, who've done great things, who are doing great things. But with those leaders who are up there must come down and hold the hands of the young people and teach them discipline. My generation lacks discipline. The most abused generation that we ever have in this country is my generation. They lack discipline, they lack respect, they lack focus, and they have no vision.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Have we let our children down, Ken?
In my opinion, I think yes. Yes, Jeff. I talk to these children. I ask them, who is your role model? No one tells me my parent, my father. Why? Because one, parents provide the physical need. They pay school fees, they buy them food, they do everything. But there's more to a kid, more than money and more than all those things. They need personal touch, talking out to them. That's why they lie to their parents. Why? They don't consider you a mentor. They're not honest with you. Their mentor is someone who sits with them on the stone in the estates and makes them feel emotionally uplifted, spiritually uplifted, whichever spirit it is. And the last thing, the one who makes them feel like there's something in society.
But Ken, we don't have any shortage of mentors. We don't have shortage of heroes. We have sports heroes, the Rudishas, the Yegos, the Kemboys. We have heroes up and down this country.
Yeah.
Why don't we emulate them? When I grew up in America, many years of my life, and the heroes in that country, the Michael Jordans, the Magic Johnsons, the sporting heroes, the movie stars, those were their heroes. Why can't Kenyans look up to their sporting heroes?
Jeff, I will quote a scripture. Jesus said, follow me and I'll make you
Fishers of men.
fishers of men.
I remember that line.
Yeah. So there's a problem where the heroes are not there to be followed. Follow me and I will make you. They have to come down to the level of the young people and allow themselves to pour out their lives to the young people so that the young people may follow them. They see them on TV, they call them heroes, but they have no personal touch. All we need to do is go back to them and tell them, I'm here, I can talk to you, I feel you, I've gone through it. Don't do that, it won't help you. Come here, go that direction, do this, try that, read this book, try this strategy, start that business. That's what they need.
Church?
Life Pool Chapel.
Life Pool Chapel.
Yes, sir.
I hear you preach well, man. You're a good preacher.
Well, Jeff, I bless the Lord.
28 years old.
28 years
What
old.
made you go into this?
Passion. Basically, it's passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were telling me before the show there were 3 things that people require.
Yes.
Discipline.
Discipline, focus, and passion. Life does not respond to potential.
Don't talk to me.
I can talk to them. Life does not respond to potential. Life responds to passion. Jeff, in the Bible, I'm a pastor. Let me refer to it. Jesus ignored the Pharisees who were educated and gave so much heed to unschooled men like Peter, John, and James. Why? Because of passion. Your life becomes different not because of your potential, but because of your passion. It's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have.
Pastor Ken.
Yeah.
Favorite verse in the Bible.
My favorite verse in the Bible. And whatever, brothers, whatever is good, whatever is noble, whatever is excellent, whatever is worth of praise, such things, think about them.
Where is that? Where can I find that?
That is in Philippians chapter 4 and verse number 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mine is John 14:6.
What does it say?
And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father
But through me.
but by
But
me.
Jeff, I must say this. Everything I do right now, it's God. I do all I do because of God. It's through Him who gives me the strength to do this. There's a part of the Bible. Can I say it?
Please.
Paul says, it's God who gives us the power to persuade and influence the hearts of men. So for me, all these young people who follow me, who love me, who call me, who listen to me, it's because of that influence that comes from God. It's not about Ken Gomeri, it's about Jesus in me.
My man.
Yeah.
Ken, we're going to have you back in the show a little later. I want to bring the 3 principles so that we can talk a little more.
Yes, sir.
But just before we go to break, just tell them when, what time, if they're interested. Saturday, Sunday?
Yes.
Starting at 8?
This Saturday starting at
Yeah.
8.
At Lions Girls
at
or Lions High?
At Alliance Girls High School.
Yep.
We'll be there the whole of Saturday and the whole of Sunday. 8 a.m. in the morning till 5 every day. Great lineup of speakers. Amazing topics. Amazing and brilliant people. You can't miss this.
You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
All right. Ken Gomeri, Pastor Ken Gomeri.
Yeah.
Life Pool Church, right?
Yeah.
Life Pool.
Chapel.
Chapel, yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming up, the principles of 3 of the top of the top of the top national schools, folks. You don't want to miss this. They're here to inspire you. If you're between the ages of 15 and 35, this is the show for you. If you're the parents of kids between the ages of 15 and 35, this is also a show for you. We're inspiring you because this weekend at Alliance Girls High School, a summit like no other. They're calling it Raise Your Game. If not now, then when? If not us, then who? Jeff Koinange live takes a quick break. Keep tweeting at Ken Gomeri, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Raise Your Game. We are live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. We're going to take a quick break. JKL will be back in a moment.